Welcome to Friendly Math 101. Today's lesson is over. Special right triangles. There are two types of special right triangles, 45, 45, 90 and the 30, 60, 90. Today we're going to discuss the 30, 60, 90 special right triangle. Now these triangles are special because they have a special pattern that we can memorize. So it's easier and quicker when we try to do these problems. So for the 30, 60, 90, here is an example of that triangle. Now I only needed to have the right angle and one of the sides labeled, or one of the angles labeled, because I already know this has to be 60. Because the sum of these three angles must equal 180. So that's the only way that's possible. Now for this, our pattern is going to be x will always be across from the 30-degree angle. So the 30-degree angle, that's going to be your x. Across from the 60-degree angle is going to be 2x. It's 2 times whatever this side is. Across from the 90-degree angle, it's going to be that same x times the square root of 3. So this is our pattern. Across from the smallest angle will be the smallest side, which is called x. Across from the 60-degree angle will be the 2x. And across from the 90 will be x times the square root of 3. So let's use this pattern to do some examples. So in our left example here, let me just rewrite my pattern. I have x, 2x, x square root of 3. Remember, the x is always across from the 30-degree angle. So let me label my sides according to this pattern. Across from the 30-degree angle, which is labeled here, this is going to be x. Across from the 60-degree angle, which isn't labeled, but we know that's here, that's going to equal 2x. And across from the 90-degree angle, it's going to be x square root of 3. So I'm looking for a and b. A is 2x. Well, guess what? I already know x is 8. So a is 16. Easy enough. B is x times the square root of 3. Well, I already know x is 8. So b is just 8 times the square root of 3. Again, we want to leave that as the square root of 3. We don't want to make it an ugly decimal. So that is your answer. That is simplest radical form. So here's b, here's a, and we're done with that problem. Moving on to our next triangle. Again, we have our pattern x, 2x, x square root of 3. You just need to remember where x is and where 2x is. So x is always going to be across from the 30-degree angle. It's not labeled here, but I know that it's here. So that's b. b is equal to x. Across from the 60-degree angle is 2x. So a equals 2x. And across from the right angle is x square root of 3. So the only thing we know here is x times the square root of 3 equals 18. From this equation, I can solve for x. We want to undo what's being done to x, so we divide by the square root of 3. That will 1 out there. Remember, we can't have a square root on the bottom, so we rationalize by multiplying the square root of 3 over the square root of 3. That leaves me with 18 square root of 3 on the top because we just multiply across. And on the bottom there, the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 becomes the square root of 9, but the square root of 9 is 3. So every time you multiply a square root by itself, then you just get the number underneath the square root as your answer. Now this can be reduced a little bit more 18 divided by 3 is 6. So I know x equals 6 square root of 3. Well, guess what? X is also b. So there's one of my answers. B equals 6 square root of 3. A is just 2 times all of that. And when we multiply these together, all we do is multiply the whole numbers. So we get 12. And you just stick that square root of 3 right back on there. It doesn't go anywhere. And so that is A. And those are our two answers. So as long as you remember the pattern and you set the numbers equal to whatever is in the pattern, then you can find everything you need in these problems. Thank you for watching, and for more math tutorials, please subscribe to our channel, Friendly Math 101.